This is a presentation of RVT Entertainment.
This isn't about the dead, it's about the living. It's about my mother. It's about my sister. It's about my wife. It's about the 14 years it took me to go from undesirable to un-goddamn deniable.
You know, they say all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Small Joe, and you can see that statement is not true.
Because I'm better than you, and you know it.
In the back, there are men and women, seasoned professionals, dues paid in full, gunning to be the best.
I'll always light the way, and all you have to do is let me in.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly. The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
Hey, hi, hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wrestle-Cast, presented by RVT Entertainment on Podomatic.com, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you may find its fine audio recording. Yes, we are a better show than Joe Rogan. That's why you should stick around. Don't give them the listens. Give those listens to us. We'll take them. We talk about professional wrestling, about fitting and mainstream independent scene. They're also, I forgot to say, live on twitch.tv/RVT Entertainment. Mainstream independent scene, you know the dealio by now. My name's Matty J. Housen. That is TWK Housen.
Got my Monster Ultra Blue. I'm good for the night.
Nice. Very nice. Also joining us, as per usual and always, Shintigercurl Housen.
Hey, yo, man, this is D.
D?
Yeah, man, this is a homicide, man. I got some bad news for you, Matty. I'm going to have to lead the Wrestle-Cast. I'm joining off the script. I'm joining Solid Monster. They said they'll give me whatever I want, so I can't do the show no more.
Folks, this is a deep cut if you've not watched the Indie Hall of Fame induction ceremony. That's all I'm going to say there.
They just going to give me whatever I want. I go to New Japan. I wrestle Naito. I wrestle Kojima. Lariat. There
it is.
And this is not homicide. This is Shintigercurl. It's dim sum time. I just fucking with you.
Those who want context, watch the shoot interview between CM Punk and Samoa Joe.
Yes.
Had to do it for the 187.
Oh, good Lord. Okay, before we do anything else, usually I switch over to the card where you see all the info you would normally see on screen, but we got to introduce some people first. So we're going to talk about the person you know already. He jumped in the call because he wanted to jump into the call. It's the Fez head, Mr. Mike Shell.
Yes, very, very fezzy, very trolly, Mike Shellhausen.
Thank you, and I almost forgot to say how's it on this one. The next one, you've heard mention of talking about my friends over at that private Dynamite call we do every Wednesday. This next person, very Australian but very cool, very nice. Don't know about evil. But he hosts a call and is a former professional wrestler from Australia, which is, I want to say mid-afternoon almost. It's Mase, everybody.
Thank you very much. Very Australian, very cursey. Masehausen.
Aha, very good. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, you always double check Hausen those things. You always, it's 12 p.m. says it, yeah, but who's the other person in Australia? Actually?
In our OG Australian Enigma says it's noon.
Yeah, 12 p.m. at that time. I'm assuming that's accurate.
Well, half an hour off, but sure.
Pretty much. That being said, we got 5 people, a Rumble, GCW, and obviously Hausen, Danhausen. So we got to cram all that stuff inside of 85 minutes. So we're going to get right to it. We're going to talk about the Royal Rumble. And I think in context, I shouldn't be hitting the clip of the week, which is Cody's post-match show. So we're going to go straight into talking about the Rumble, and then we'll hit clip of the week. and then we'll have some good fun. So we're gonna take care of the we're gonna give the required attention to the Junior Land because it's their Rumble. It's the fun show, they claim. It usually is, and it's the Rumble. There's a moral obligation to at least bring it up at the very least. So we're going to take care of that now, then the clip of the week, and then we're going to have some fun. Does that sound fair to everybody?
Yes.
I don't like fun.
Well, that's why we're talking Junior Line if you don't like fun.
There you go. We're tinker. It's that one thing, and then we get to the dessert, pretty much. That being said, the Royal Rumble, they're at the Dome at America's Center in St. Louis, Missouri, January 19th. It's on a Saturday, so there's a positive. If you feel like beating yourself up morally, you have at least a Sunday to recover. The card reads as follows. No pre-show yet, but they have Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins for the Universal title.
We know who's winning that one.
Pretty much. It's Roman Reigns.
No, it's Glacier.
Oh. Wait. You mean?
Oh, my blood runs cold on that one.
Yeah. You mean you do mean Glacierhausen, right?
No, just Glacier. They don't deserve a housing.
There's the one man who does not deserve the housing.
Fair. Edge and Beth Phoenix take on The Miz and Maryse in a mixed tag match.
Edge and Phoenix should win this one, so that way they can put this feud straight to bed.
Yeah, this is a nostalgia pop, if I've ever seen one.
The winner the winners will be El Torito and Kelly Kelly.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about the WWE running gag we started since Survivor Series. Yeah, we don't care who wins. We're just going to throw out a winner here. Bork Glazer, Sock Lesnar takes on Bobby Lashley. Sans his sisters, unfortunately. WWE title. I don't know.
Bork.
I think Lashley's winning the belt because they're not going to do a double title match at Mania.
True.
No, the match. This is how I was going to go. The match is going to start, and 3 seconds in, Kazunino Ray hits. Minoru Suzuki comes out, scares them both pantsless, tells them to go fuck off. He takes the title and leaves with it. Forbidden Door.
If Junior wasn't running things, I would buy that.
Yeah, that would be pop of the millennium there.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Junior wants. Minoru Suzuki wants to do it. He's going to do it. No one's going to stop him.
Yeah.
Fair, but there's some legal wrangling and some red tape. Look, Suzuki-san might not care about it, but Junior over there should or would.
Don't worry. He has a good lawyer. The offices of Gotch and Piledriver.
Ah. Didn't Danhausen join that law office, by the way?
No, that's only for members of Suzuki-gun only.
Ah. Yeah, you got to know people to do that. Yeah.
Hence why Lance Archer is part of it.
Yeah, that absolutely makes sense. But yeah, that's the undercard as announced on the wiki here.
You missed one.
Oh, Becky Lynch is the drop for the women's title. Who cares? It's you know who's gonna win?
Gail Kim.
Sasha Banks.
No. Aja Kong.
My future ex-wife.
Which
for
one?
Last time.
Good old Kia. She's such a lovely lady.
For last time, Shin, you're never going to marry Jordan Grace.
Well, she's not getting anywhere when she's got a fucking sea creature as a husband.
Also, last time, he's a human being, and yes, those are real pants.
No, they're not.
Oh,
that is just clever use of octopus camouflage, ink, and sea trickery.
You can't use sea trickery when you're on land.
yes, you can.
That's the trickler.
Yeah. That's clearly ink, kelp, and tentacles make to live like pants. Clearly.
Or are you saying octopuses are dumb like that? In that case, you're insulting Jonathan Gresham yourself.
Oh, and insult him as you by insisting that he's a cephalopod.
if he calls himself that, then I have to take him at his word. He seems like an
It's
honest
a
man.
metaphor!
It's a nickname.
You believe Bryan Danielson is literally a dragon?
Yes.
Yes.
So Brock Lesnar is actually a beast. Roman Reigns is a big dog, and Bobby Heenan's a weasel.
Yes.
True, and true.
I know this for true because I have fed Roman Reigns kibble, and he loves it.
And The Rock was really the Brahma Bull, because nobody gets that big without steroids.
That too, yeah.
Very fair. All that's left, really, outside of the women's matchup and all that stuff, is the two Rumbles themselves. We'll go with ladies first, since it does feature a person who got fired and decided, I'll take an extra paycheck. Yeah. The Rumble, the announced roster is as follows: Rhea Ripley, Nikki ASH, Dana Brooke, Carmella, Queen Zelina, Tamina, Shotzi. Why they removed her fucking last name? God's sake. Natalya, Aaliyah, Naomi, Shayna Baszler, Charlotte Flair, Nikki Bella, Brie Bella. Yes. Natalya. No, not Natalya. She's already read that. Lita, Michelle McCool, Kelly, Summer Rae, the aforementioned Mickie James, Bianca Belair, and Liv Morgan.
And Sasha Banks.
Just added, I'm assuming?
Yep.
Yes.
And I'm going to have to correct you. It's WWE legend Summer Rae.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true.
Legend. Yeah, because Legend hasn't. She actually wrestled for WWE.
Yeah, legend has it. Legend has it that she had a match or two.
Well, yeah, she had several. I mean, she was a part of the original Women's Revolution in NXT.
And apparently there's some rumor going around that she's had some kind of feud with involving Dolph Ziggler and Miro, but I don't remember that. They just made that up.
But NXT doesn't count for WWE.
There you go.
Very true.
Oh, it should.
And for those wondering why, Mickie James is in there. It turns out it is a one-time deal, but it is what it is.
I already know the winner.
Who do you got?
The greatest female wrestler in the history of NXT, Pete Dunne's sister, Patricia Dunne.
Oh, there's a deep cut for anyone joining us for the first time.
Please, it's going to be Shazza McKenzie.
Oh, if only. Although I do
only.
hear she's finally heading to the States again after a long time.
Yeah, visa issues.
Yeah, she says she's been stuck in Australia for like the past 2 years.
Yeah, because they won't let us out of the damn country.
Yeah. It's pretty much the same thing in Japan. I think if you want to come back in, but you ain't going out.
Yep.
I hope it doesn't go that bad in our country, because fuck. Like I'd like to visit my buddies again. Jeez. Anyway,
That would be nice.
The men's rumble is as follows: Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, Rey, and Dominic Mysterio. Austin Theory, Johnny Knoxville.
If Drew Carey
There's
can be in a Rumble, why not someone who can actually do stunts?
One, fair. Two, if this was 10 years ago, I would have marked out. Now I'm like, you're just begging for attention at this point. Like, all he's got to do is take one bump, fuck all, say nope, and jump over the rope before he gets killed. Again.
Knowing Knoxville, he's probably going to take some really gnarly bumps.
He's probably going to take a bit, yeah. He's probably be the crazy bastard taking a choke slam from the top rope to the floor. Thinking he's PCO, but he's not PCO.
Because Johnny Knoxville is human.
And therein lies the problem. Sheamus, Damian Priest, AJ Styles, Big E, Happy Corbin, Madcap Moss. I laughed at that fucking name. Sami Zayn, Kofi Kingston, Kevin Owens, my boy. Omos, not my boy. Randy Orton, Matt Riddle, Chad Gable, Otis, Dolph Ziggler, Robert Roode, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rick Boggs, and Ricochet.
Rick Boogs.
I read that as Rick Boggs. Rick Boogs. Sorry.
Respect the Bugenhagen.
Yes.
So my winner is gonna be
David Arquette.
Oh no! They're not going to
No,
that
I'm,
deep
I'm
again.
going with Danhausen, the only guy to go in AEW and WWE in the same week.
I
I'm
mean,
gonna go with
that's that A&W contract. You can work anywhere now.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Matt Damon.
Ooh, there's a surprise entry.
Yeah, I think Matt Damon's gonna take the whole thing, and he's gonna throw out Andre the Giant.
Clearly, the winner is going to be Matt Cardona, and he's going to take the Universal title and turn it into another spinner belt.
No, he's not.
No. I sense a Burt Reynolds. I sense a Norm Macdonald, Burt Reynolds going here.
Maybe.
No. Like, you know who it's going to be? This gentleman called Turd Ferguson. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, Terry Ferguson. That's a funny name.
For God's sakes, Mr. Reynolds, take off the damn hat.
No, I'm not going to keep the hat. Large novelty hat. It's bigger than a regular size hat. It's hilarious, yeah.
All right, we squeezed all the comedy we could out of Junior Land here. So, if you want to enjoy the show, it's the Rumble. It's always fun. There's going to be a minimum amount of fun. Y'all enjoy it live if you want. I'm just going to, I don't know.
If nothing else, it's usually a fun party atmosphere.
It usually is.
Just people running in, throwing each other over the top rope. Never know who's going to show up. So it's usually a fun time.
Usually. It's mostly a fun time. Mostly. So, I don't know. I had aliens in the background in the morning. Don't ask why. All right. Clip of the week time. And so we get to the fun shit. Now, obviously, this is in context to what happened with what opened Dynamite this Wednesday. And if you did not watch that ladder match, turn this podcast off and go watch that shit.
That's right. Stop listening to us right now. Never listen to us ever again.
No. They could watch us on VOD. And an audio podcast. They don't need to watch us now. They can watch. They need that. They need the record set amount of time to watch the ladder match, so they can mark out like the rest of us did on Wednesday.
Yes.
Then they come back, and then whatever happens, happens. That being said, Cody, obviously he lost, and camera crew went back to him, and normally those post-match interviews is a chance for them to cut a promo and all that stuff. This, and you would think, sometimes it's more character building. Most choose to ignore it because they'll probably bring it back up on the show, or it'll be brought up by commentary. This time, though, this one cuts a little bit closer. I think it is worth noting, at the very least. Take a listen.
This is such a bizarre story, but my dad used to coach our football team. I remember the last game of the season, we played the Walton Raiders. The last game of the season, we weren't going to playoffs. It didn't matter. We lost. We were in 7th grade. I'll never forget this. And everyone's expecting it's the last game of the season. Great season. We're going to do the banquet, all this, and we lost. We got our ass kicked. And it's similar because tonight I lost. And I'll never forget it when all those parents were circled around him. They thought he was going to say something inspirational, something significant about what a great season. And he just told them I have a bad taste in my mouth. Because wrestling is about the ones who win. Man, I ought to know. I lost for 8 years. I really ought to know. So something as silly as a wrestling match isn't silly at all to me. The winner's purse isn't remotely fictional to me. The winners make more than the losers. The winners sit in first class. The winners wear the TNT Championship. I feel at least positive about the fact that it's on someone like Sammy Guevara. It's on someone who I helped bring here, recruited, wrestled in the very first match on Dynamite, in Dynamite history. The first match is Sammy versus myself, and here we are on TBS. We've only grown, our audience has grown, our ratings have grown. It's paradise, right? You asked for post-match comments, so there's so many elephants in the room. This is an insane week in wrestling. People think that the Sean Ross story is BS. It's not. I am working here without a contract. I'm not even on payroll anymore. I'm working here on a handshake deal. That is 100% legitimate, I swear on Pharaoh's life. If you want to know how serious things got, but I can tell you this. I have never felt more at home than under those lights, wrestling for the TNT title, a title that will never, ever, ever be secondary because of matches like that. Old school promoters will tell you the title can make the man or the man can make the title. At this point, we don't know which is which. I'm very proud of Sammy Guevara. I absolutely wish I could go home to my baby girl, to my family, and say, hey, TNT champ once again, a belt that was synonymous with my name, doesn't look like it's going to be just about me. Brody, Miro, Darby, Sammy, myself. I'm slow when it comes to rematches. But maybe I won't be so slow on getting my rematch on this one. But for now, I'm going to take a beat, get with Arn. Arn's been there for my whole career. I'm going to think about it. Again, an insane week where I have heard the most wonderful, crazy things from all walks of the wrestling world on what it is that I do next. But like I said, I've never felt more at home than wrestling for that title in front of a crowd like that.
Now I know what some of you might be thinking. He ain't going to the Junior Land again. But
he's working the boys.
He's working everybody at this point. But he did mention Sean Ross Sapp. The reported rumor was Cody's contract is up. He's working on a handshake deal, and unless a secret side deal was signed, Cody pretty much all but confirmed it. So there you go.
Well, this is the thing, though. It could be that, yes, Cody's active wrestler deal is up. However, his executive vice president or whatever backstage role he has, that would possibly be a different contract. Mm-hmm. That one could still be active, which is why he's still with the company.
Yeah, and the wrestling side is on a handshake deal because he doesn't wrestle every week like everybody else. Because of the executive side of things. Which is possible. That's one theory I've heard.
And to Enigma, no, Sean Ross Sapp is not in on it. That's not his style.
No, he if he says the contract's up, he double checks that shit, and he makes sure no kayfabe is involved.
At least not on his knowledge. Yeah, at least on his end.
But so Cody had that. Jesus Christ, that cutter. Oh God, do we want to start with Dynamite this week?
Oh, sure, let's do it. Let's start Dynamite.
May as well, because that's what opened the damn show. Holy Jesus!
For the undisputed TNT Championship, Cody Rhodes versus the Spanish God, Sammy Guevara.
He's hype, and he has every right to be. My God. A lot of comparisons, like Mase, it was joked last week though, where it's Sean versus Razor all over again, but it's like, do you have a better idea? And then no,
if you're gonna replicate something, replicate the best.
Yeah, yep. And you know what? Sean and Razor might have done that spot if they were inspired to do it, but no. Springboard cutter from the top of 2 ladders? No.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine that spot going any more perfect than it did, because the timing of just Cody's reaction to getting into position perfectly to get caught by the cutters, just everything just lined up so perfectly that I don't think they would ever be able to replicate it ever again.
Yeah, this is one of those things where you have to look at the logistics of it. And for a lot of people, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the show, Mase is a former professional wrestler. He ought to know a thing or two about coordination. I mean, I'm assuming you know a few things about coordination.
There would have been a bit before the show, like when all the guys are in the ring practicing spots and everything else, that they would have at least measured the approximation of what they need to do for that spot to set it off. wouldn't have practiced it just because it is such a spot where things can go wrong if you're just that millimeter off.
Even with a crash pad, because of the height, even with a crash pad, something could break. Little known fact, folks.
Exactly.
I've seen a kid break their leg on a gym mat before. Well, not just one of those thin ones, one of those that are made to absorb the impact, like the thick ones.
Yeah, but they would have at least gone up and measured. They would have gone up. They would have measured.
Yeah.
Like, where do we put the ladder? Where's the best place to try and do the bump? How much room do we need for
account for fatigue, extra pain, all that stuff.
It's not a Foley at the top of the Hell in a Cell where he looked down and he turned the taker and said, "Throw me."
No,
like
this is...
these days they plan this stuff out a lot better than they used to.
And I get the feeling for a spot like that, you had to plan the shit out of it just so it could land, just to have it pull off correctly. Not but the way the spot worked, the way it was angled, the way everything turned out, it was pitch fucking perfect.
Yes, sir. But
I dare you to find a cutter that smooth this year.
But you know what else is great about this ladder match? And I'm just paraphrasing from another podcaster we both know. These days we are conditioned to expect certain things out of a ladder match. Like, these days we don't get a lot of one-on-one ladder matches between two guys. We either get multi-man ladder matches or tag team ladder matches and the like. And
a lot of it is to make sure no one has to take multiple crazy bumps. Everyone has like their one bump they work off of, and then the winner goes to the top of the ladder, and that's it.
Yeah, but this and we're all used to multi-man ladder matches just being kind of spot fest where everybody just does their spots, but there were not a lot of high spots in this match. Like, other than the only ones I can think of offhand was that superplex, the cutter, and the Jeff Hardy spot where Sammy swantoned off the top of the ladder. Other than that, it was just an excellent match that had a little bit of everything. It had great mat work, it had great psychology, it had a great storytelling, great drama, great strategy. I'm going to go out on a limb here. You guys know I used to say this a lot back in the day. I used to say that Randy Orton and Triple H had the best ring psychology in the business. I'm going to say it right now. Cody Rhodes is definitely up there. He has some of the best, if not the best, ring psychology of anybody working right now.
Well, considering who his brother and his father, it doesn't surprise me that he would have picked up a few tricks along the way.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes is a very smart man for this business.
Yeah.
So, and he understands the base concept of most wrestling matches, especially in something like a ladder match. You use the old KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Yep.
Where you can get away with bare minimum, but it looks like you're doing a lot.
And I think a lot of people would look at a ladder match. Oh, it's a feud ender. It's like, oh, they hate each other and they go right for the thing. The way the match was structured on a psychological level, there was, outside of a quote friendly rivalry where okay there is some intensity to it thrown into it, there was no reason to go full bore, hey, let's throw ladders at each other's faces for 5 minutes before we even start wrestling here. They just handled it like a wrestling match that happened to end with a ladder.
Yep.
It's also one of those things where you look at it from a booking perspective and a business perspective. Like, and this again shows how smart Cody can be in these situations. Is he's not going to go out and put his body through a ton of stuff, especially after all the shit he copped for the flaming table spot a few weeks back. He's realizing that if I'm going to go out there and put my body on the line, jump off high ladders, take big bumps or anything, I'm going to do it on a pay-per-view where the payday is going to be worth.
Yeah. Or have it that my efforts will benefit my opponent.
Yep.
At the very minimum.
Yeah.
I have to read the chat a little bit in Name of Extreme. I thought the old KISS method was rock and roll all night and party every day. Fair. Pretty sure there was some partying before, but definitely not after that ladder match. That's for sure.
After the ladder match, it's ice baths and massages.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that both these guys spent the night in one of those cold hot tubs filled with ice.
Oh, yeah, I'm fairly certain that's what it was.
Recovery
I think Sammy
bath?
tweeted.
Oh, hell yeah.
I think Sammy tweeted about it as like, my body hurts. And that was the tweet.
Yeah, usually a lot of the guys, when they get backstage after a match like that, they either get the plastic bags filled with ice and just strap them up, or if they have access to one of the recovery baths filled with ice, they'll jump straight into that if they can.
Mm-hmm.
And given the proximity of like, well, actually no, because this is Dynamite, they're not doing it at Daly's place.
No,
with Daly's place, because it's next door to the
football facility. Yeah, you would think if they did that there, you would think they do that there. Those ice baths are ready to go as soon as the bell rings.
And we do know that Daly's place has ice baths due to Sammy's vlog, and Ricky Starks can last an exceptionally long time in one of those.
Crazy bastard.
Yeah,
that's because Ricky Starks is a snake, and we all know they like cold temperatures.
Fair. Fair.
Yes. Yes, Ricky Starks, or Pretty Ricky, what they call him.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. By the way, I'm surprised they actually put the belt back on Sammy. That's pretty cool.
Hey,
I think that was probably, again, it's another one of those reaction things where Cody winning the belt just got so much heat to the point where it's like they're going, maybe we shouldn't have taken off Sammy so quickly. Plus, who knows, with Cody, he might still have a bit of injury or something that he's taking time off for, so putting it back on Sammy as the interim champ. They're like, well, let's let Sammy run with the ball for a while.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not opposed to that. We then went actually on location for a pre-shoot with Hobbs and Starks on the beach, interviewed by Tony Schiavone, who was freezing his ass off.
Yeah, by the way, the beach break in Cleveland.
There's a beach. They were on it.
They were on it. It was fucking frozen. You could see people ice fishing back there. But it's a beach.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if you're going to do something like a beach-themed episode...
You would think Orlando, Miami...
Go somewhere where there's an actual beach and
Panama City.
It was a beach.
Pool.
It was a beach. It had sand on it.
Yeah, but it had snow on top.
Well, what is snow but just cold sand?
I don't think. No,
I'm sorry, but the only place that I have ever seen do these beach themed episodes or pay-per-views properly has been WCW. You know, Bash at the Beach originally used to take place on the beach, and then they had the spring break special where it was in the hotel where they had it surrounded by water and all that type of stuff.
That's why I brought up Panama City, because that was the last Nitro.
if you're gonna do something like that, a theming like that, go to that type of extreme for it.
You know,
set up the ring at somewhere where it's like either on the sand. I know that's not good for the springs and all the other mechanics of a ring, but you can find places where you've got the beach right next to it or something like that. Do an outdoor event.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, what about the Jericho cruise? And I realized they had to cancel it because Norwegian Cruise Line is canceling every other goddamn cruise because of the global pancetta.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I also love Powerhouse Hobbs' comment towards Tony when he said his hands were frozen, and Hobbs just says, "Who cares?"
Good heel work. Good heel work.
Also, love that Hobbs is out there in nothing but overalls in that freezing weather.
And he's got the fur coat, the faux fur coat on, but he's in overalls and the pecs are out. I'm like, oh God.
He
is, as I like to describe, that dude or that guy.
When he said that to Tony, you could literally see on his face bitch, my nuts are up in my throat right now. You have no right to complain.
AEW's Devo doesn't fear the cold. The cold fears AEW's Devo.
Yeah. Yeah, but
and I'm still waiting Powerhouse Hobbs versus Wardlow. Book it, Gabe.
Please, that'd be awesome. No, but yeah, I say he's that guy because right now it's -4 Fahrenheit, -20 Celsius up in Canada. And there will be that one dude, that one crazy son of a bitch who wants to wear shorts.
Hi.
There's always that one crazy fucker.
And then we had Wardlow defeating Elijah Dean and James Alexander in a match that Matty can describe as a
squash. That's what it was, folks. He
literally-
powerbombed the fucker on another motherfucker.
All he needs now for this Powerbomb Symphony is Bugs Bunny as Leopold.
Yes.
Oh.
Leopold.
Yeah.
Leopold.
Leopold?
Yo, JR is Leopold.
If you
He's
don't know,
got handbags the size of my head.
ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know what we speak of, do a shitload of Googling because y'all need to get off that modern Bugs Bunny BS.
Get yourself in classic.
Damn right. Damn right.
We also had Jericho and Prime Powerful defeating Daniel Garcia 2.0, although there was quite a bit of conflict within the inner circle.
Some dissension.
This broke my heart.
It looks like Prime Powerful might be going their separate ways, possibly recruiting Kingston as their new mentor once he's healed.
Yeah, right now Eddie Kingston's going through, I don't know what it is, a shoulder thing, I think it was? I've read conflicting reports, to be fair.
Unfortunately, I cannot remember either, but...
He said he had there was either a shoulder or an elbow thing on the
it is
AEW
upper
games.
arm. Yeah.
But whatever it is, it wasn't affecting him playing Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 with the boys.
No,
By the way,
but it's enough there where there's a risk of strength loss, and look, nowadays strength loss means balance loss, which means someone might get hurt worse or hurt more.
by the way, shout out to Eddie Kingston bodying Chugs at Virtual Pro Wrestling.
Hashtag free Chugs.
Yes.
I don't mean free him from his contract. I'm just saying Chugs is free.
Yeah.
Also, during the beginning of that video, when Chugs revealed that he's never played Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, Eddie Kingston just went, Britt deserves better.
The burns that man was throwing out on that stream.
He did. Oh.
If you haven't watched that stream of Eddie Kingston, Evil Uno, Ortiz, and Adam Cole playing Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, track it down, watch it.
It's worth just for seeing Eddie Kingston being a fan. And I'm not going to say Mark, because there's no way. But he is a fan.
The dude is an encyclopedia of Japanese wrestling knowledge.
Especially 90s All Japan.
He it's got to be one of those days where somewhere we're going to luck our way into the same room and there's an N64 with Virtual Pro Wrestling on there, and he's going to be playing the shit out of it, and the rest of us are just going to hang back, and someone's going to put a microphone right next to him, and then we're going to hit record, and it's going to be one of those hang back kind of moments.
I just feel bad for Jericho. I mean, Proud and Powerful are leaving him. Sammy's hanging out with Fuego and his sexy ass. And Tay Conti and her sexy ass.
Yeah.
And you got Jake Hager being severely disappointed in Wardlow lately.
Yeah.
It's just not a good time to be Chris Jericho right now.
Nope.
No.
And every other week he's getting hit with a chair by 2.0.
Who, once again, Agent of Chaos, wreaking more chaos.
We also got a video package for a world title match that'll be happening in 2 weeks. Hangman Adam Page versus Lance Archer in a Texas death match.
Spit take from Hangman Page.
He should do a spit take because Lance Archer will murder him.
Thank you, Minoru Suzuki.
Watch out! Here comes Mongo.
I am.
Ah, nice.
Lance Archer is pawn in Game of Life.
I am not Minoru Suzuki. I am your friend, Danhausen.
No.
Hey, last time I saw Minoru Suzuki, he was Paul driving Kaiser.
Yes,
That's very
because
true. Oh, God.
Yes, Minoru Suzuki is better man than all of you. But I am not Minoru Suzuki, no.
Minoru Jacob Friedman?
However, we get Minoru Suzuki is so good in the ring, but can he see why kids love the taste of Cinnamon Toast Crunch?
Ooh,
Yes.
good call.
Yes, he does, because they know it will be tasty or Minoru Suzuki will pile drive them. Then, no witnesses.
This cereal commercial got dark fast.
Oh, it's not Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's Applejacks. What's Applejacks?
Moving on to something that started off lighthearted but ended up getting super serious as well. CM Punk and MJF's back and forth promo.
Ooh, this one, it was your typical thing. Actually, Punk came out, we're ready for a fight because he was in his Long Boys and all that stuff. Cuts a promo, MJF comes out, cuts a promo. The usual back and forth awesomeness. Y'all could listen for yourself. I ain't one jack shit here. But,
Yep.
finally MJF said, okay, fine, Chicago, CM Punk versus, long-ass pause, MJF!
What I was hoping for was MJF saying Matt Cardona. I was hoping for that because, Long Island connection.
Yeah. Plus, if there's anyone that could be a bastard heel, it would be Matt Cardona.
True.
So they have a nice back and forth. And then MJF is about to summon the goons to attack him, but Shawn Spears comes out from behind. It takes out Punk.
And gets his switch hair swinging fix.
I had such high
13 seconds.
Oh.
13 seconds.
I really wanted CM Punk to actually last longer, taking that shot from a BBC, but he disappointed me.
Yeah.
I'll say it would have been better if that match lasted just 10 seconds.
Oh!
Because
I get the feeling there was a large amount of restraint from doing that.
So the segment ends with MJF crossing his legs on top of CM Punk, and Kenta noticed this, and he is not amused.
Kenta is not a happy Kenta.
Kenta is never a happy Kenta these days.
I mean, in general, like in context of Kenta being Kenta, who's always pissed off, but that particular moment did not help.
Well, Kenta was happy when he won the U.S. title last year.
That he was. And then he got pissed off again because he had to defend it.
Yeah, and hopefully he's recovering nicely from those injuries.
Yeah.
And what they didn't show us was when the Pinnacle went backstage, Jake Hager was waiting in Gorilla for Wardlow. And he just shook his head and Wardlow's like, "What's wrong, baby?" I'm so disappointed in you. So disappointed in you.
We used to be fuck buddies.
Wait, come back, Jake.
This is not the man I used to hate fuck.
Oh, God, there's so much context I need to explain later.
All you have to do is go back and watch the Inner Circle promos when MJF and Jake Hager were there with Wardlow and all that, and it makes all perfect sense.
And Wardlow asks if they could do something, but then Hobbs rolls up like, "Yo, Jake, you ready to roll?" "Sure, Hobbs. Call me when you get your shit together, Wardlow." You're gonna fuck Hobbs? No, I'm not gonna fuck Hobbs. He's gonna fuck me. Cue Hulk sad walking away music.
Doot, doot, doot. Doot, 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 doot.
Oh.
Anyways, then we got some information for some matches happening tonight on Rampage, such as Jurassic Express versus Private Party for the World Tag Team titles, where we got our first tease of Danhausen showing up by them constantly referring to the Gun Club as Billy Ass and the Ass Boys.
Which at the time we're going, oh, that's a neat little shout out to Danhausen. But at the same time, Ass Boys, because Billy Gunn Ass, Mr. Ass, and then it's his boys. So at the time you're thinking, oh, that's a nice little shout out and nothing more. Could you imagine the amount of foreshadowing? You could feel the winking now. But back then, no.
Oh, yes, and we also had Anthony Bones calling out John Moxley's, and I quote, Oscar Kokoschka-looking ass.
Hey, Arnold, the reference, folks.
Mm-hmm. And he was right. My
he
God,
was.
He is so right.
He might be right, but tonight he's dead.
Oh, he about to die. He's still getting a golf clap for the Hey Arnold reference.
Anthony Bones has been on point with those references these past few weeks.
Both he and Platinum Max Caster on the promos in the last, I'm going to say 2 months, generously. They've been on fire. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Like between him telling
they got into trouble for something that Max did on one of the shows.
Yeah.
Like one of the lyrics was just like, ooh, ouch. But then they realized that it got a lot of attention, so they've sort of eased the reins up off them a little bit now.
They're just be careful with the hot buns, but beyond that, you're good.
Yeah, like last week when Anthony Bones told Darby Allin, "Welcome to the Black Parade, bitch."
Referencing Starcade 98.
97,
but yeah.
Yep. Expect probably some Renee references tonight from old Platinum Max.
Oh my God! If they're even allowed to box and do that.
Well, they can because she's not on the junior contract, so technically she's technically.
I'm just saying in a kayfabe sense. I'm like, are they even be allowed to? Are they even going to be allowed to let a rap before Mox kills both?
Don't know.
And then,
they will. They'd be stupid not to.
You gotta get your shit in, of course.
And then while she's at home with her daughter, she's like, that Max Caster's so hilarious. Shooter, go beat him up. And Shooter goes beat up the Acclaim.
Just don't let Renee anywhere near Bully Ray, and we're good.
No,
she don't like him at the moment.
I don't think there are very many. I don't think Bully Ray has many friends at this point.
No,
Bully is one of those people, and yes, I've worked a show with Bully. He is one of those guys that you have to approach with caution. Like, if you talk about the right type of things, he's actually a nice person to you, but if you get on his bad side, he'll let you fucking know.
Right.
So he's one
blunt.
of those guys. He's blunt, he's honest, he's no bullshit.
Also, he blocks me for giving him a compliment.
What was the compliment, by the way? I forgot.
So here's the full context of the conversation. A fan asks him, "Hey, how are you and Devon brothers? You're both different ethnicities." To which Bully Ray says, "It's same father, different mother." To which I respond with, "Kazing of Kazay Fizabe." To which he says, "Blizzocked."
Yeah.
I think it was more the context in which you put it than what you were actually saying.
Yeah.
I gave him a huge compliment. I call him the king of kayfabe.
Yeah, but you didn't put it as that straight.
Yeah, he might have read that. He might have read that as in a mocking tone.
A mocking wrong context.
Yeah, It's one of those things when you say it on air, everyone gets it.
Yeah.
But if you read it as on a tweet, you don't know if it's a joke or earnest compliment.
But because this is Bully Ray, I am not giving him the benefit of the doubt. Fuck you, Bully. Anyways, moving on. We also have Julia Hart agreeing to challenge Jade Cargill for the TBS title on TNT again.
Yeah, I know this was brought up on the call, and at the time I'm like, oh god, here we go. But now that I thought about it, yeah. So TBS title on TNT, TNT title on TBS. It's all under the same umbrella.
I am curious though, because the storyline for this one came out of Dynamite, where Jade's little associate stooge,
Smart Mark Sterling.
Smart Mark Sterling, yeah. He presented a contract to Julia Hart, saying that it's a indemnity waiver or something like that because of the eye patch.
Yeah, because
I reckon there's going to be something else to it. Wrestling contracts aren't that straightforward in storylines.
Yeah.
She's turning.
Oh yeah. The moment that she stopped dressing like a cheerleader, I thought, okay, they're slowly going to turn her.
It's the fact that she kept the eye patch. Most of the time, you keep the eye patch 1 or 2 weeks. It's about a month since she's blacked.
Oh yeah,
she in a few weeks she's going to pull up that eye patch and it's going to be like a
a contact lens with a little bit of paint around it.
No, a bit like Malachi, what he's done.
Yeah, just maybe a little more subtle, just to keep it in and under the patch, but it'll be a black eye with a contact in it.
Yeah.
Yep. He's totally gonna Palpatine her.
Good.
Give in to your anger. Give in to your hate.
Join me on the dark side of the kayfabe.
Don't explain how I fell down a 150,000-foot shaft and still managed to make it out alive.
Dark side shit, you wouldn't understand that. Secret's only the same dude, whatever bullshit that is.
The Force is a very powerful thing. Also, airbag. Lucky.
It was a crash mat down the bottom.
And what I believe was probably
it was all a long-term plan between Vader and Palpatine. They're really going to just like kayfabe Skywalker.
And what I believe is probably going to be a bit of a squash match on tonight. We have Brock Anderson and Big Shotty Lee taking on FTR.
The AAA Tag Team Champions.
Something's going to happen post-match, but it ain't going to involve Brock or Big Shotty.
And
call
tonight,
it a hunch.
It's going to Tully and Arn are going to get into it.
more likely than not, yeah.
I would pop for that, though. I would pop for that.
Tully's going to wind up for a punch. Arn ends is just going to pull out the Glock.
Oh, God.
Tully's going to pull a Moriarty from Game of Shadows. He's like, come now, Arn, you think you're the only one who can play this game? And pulls out his own Glock.
Oh, God.
Oh, yes.
Come. Yeah, I feel like Christopher Lee and Man with the Golden Gun. Come, Mr. Come, 007. Come, AA.
Horseman shit.
Yeah.
Horseman
JC
shit.
in the chat. Welcome to AEW, where everything is made up and the channels don't matter. It had to be read. Also, Nimue was going with the Fuck Bully Ray chant, and yeah, GCW did say that. We'll get to that in a couple.
Yep, we also had Layla Hirsch defeating Red Velvet in an alright match, I suppose. It got what needed to be done, and Layla Hirsch ended up taking out Red Velvet, and then afterwards ended up taking her out even more, doing even more damage, until she was stopped by Statlander.
Yeah. Not much more to say there.
Stretch him.
Stretch him. Pull his arm out. Yeah,
Give the cameraman that quote unquote right shot.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, I believe there was a thing, and then there was a main event. Lights out.
Well, there was Britt Baker cutting a promo that unfortunately led nowhere. I was waiting this whole time for somebody to interrupt her to start a world title program, but nothing happened, unfortunately.
It was, look at all these awards I won from a magazine that is now freaking irrelevant.
There's this beautiful tarp-top table that's perfectly given for my back to hurt on. Please, someone, please. Fuck Cleveland. I'm the only baker in town. That's actually good. This segment was begging for a Powerball segment, and it never happened.
Like, I understand, like, you know, she is a good mic worker. She's gotten really good, and she can carry a promo herself, but this really felt like a segment that was set up for the sole purpose of somebody coming out and interrupting, and as Matty said, putting her through a table.
Comeuppance, and no comeuppance.
Like, you'd expect at least Jamie Hayter, at least her. Somebody?
Anybody.
Come on, I was expecting my
Ruby,
ex-wife to
anyone?
come out there. Come on, future ex-wife, he should have been out there.
Yeah. Alas, that's where the segment ended, and then the lights went out, went back on, and the main event happened. Orange Cassidy took on Adam Cole, bye-bye. In a very fun main event.
Yeah, there was weapons, there was interference, there was fighting to the go position. We saw TK Tony Khan. We also saw Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
Jerry Lynn.
Thank you.
Ah, there you go. Hey.
Now to his TNA
Nice.
theme.
Mm-hmm. TNA, excuse me, ECW.
Ah, he also had a similar
Is-
growl
is-
to
is-
his
is-
TNA theme.
Securitron by Fear Factory.
Ah, nice.
Aha, very true, very true. There was a very similar theme in
Sheesh.
TNA, so both were technically correct. The
Well, it was
best
a
kind of
ripoff
correct.
of his ECW theme.
Yeah.
That's basically what
Hey,
TNA
look.
did for like the first few years was make ripoffs
Yeah.
of other theme
Long
songs.
story short, you're both correct.
still
You're
do.
both technically correct, the best kind of correct.
Of course, the thing that most people are talking about with this main event happened within the first 3 minutes.
It
which
was
is where-
there was a brawl to the outside of the ring, and then Cole gets advantage, gets pissed off. Hey, fuck this, getting a chair into the ring. He gets a chair and it's stuck. He's pulling. He pulls it out, and out comes a wild Danhausen. Roof flies off.
I think Twitter crashed for about 5 minutes there.
It did. It totally did.
As someone who's probably been a fan of Danhausen the longest out of anyone here, I cannot express how happy I was to actually see him on television.
You must have been jumping up and down your chair after
I
that.
lost my fucking mind.
As did I.
Like, just to let you know how big of a fan I am of his, for Christmas this year, my brother-in-law knew to get me a Danhausen hoodie because of how much just I obsess over this guy. Because he is just one of the most entertaining people in pro wrestling. He is so entertaining, he doesn't even need to wrestle.
He's in the
Well,
same
that-
vein
that-
as
that
Orange
was the-
Cassidy before he started to wrestle in AEW.
But I will say, like, congrats to Danhausen because he put on one hell of an online campaign to not only get Tony Khan's attention, but to be able to be signed to the company.
And doing
Like-
that with a bad leg. Because keep in mind, he
Yeah.
broke his leg just before Ring of Honor closed up shop.
Yeah, he broke his leg back in Halloween.
So timing-wise, great. Also,
And he
wow.
didn't even really do anything either. He's come out from the ring and he's just sort of done the finger point at Adam Cole, walked around him, and then just turns his back and just starts high-fiving everybody on the way out. If you actually watch the full clip,
yeah.
they have put it up
Yeah.
on the AEW YouTube. Watch the background after Adam Cole goes for the chair shot, and they switch back to that same angle. You see Danhausen with his hand up in the going across the thing. Going, high five, high five, high five, high five, high five.
High five, high five, high five, high five. Very nice, very even.
Yes.
Yes, high five. You're not cursed. You bought my merchandise. Yes, very nice.
We'll buy it eventually.
Very elite, very evil.
Yes. No, it sounds like we're underselling it. Look, T-Dub marked the fuck out. Mase, you were on the call when I popped for it.
Yeah, I was even surprised. I will be honest. I dismissed Danhausen initially as just like another indie guy trying to get attention. I didn't realize his background with Ring of Honor because I haven't kept up with Ring of Honor in years.
No, it's fair.
But this was enough to make me sort of go and look into the character, and it's actually quite surprising how much.
It's amazing his luck. Obviously, we mentioned his broken leg nearing the end of Ring of Honor, which he totally deserved to be a part of the Final Battle show. Just bad timing there. He joined just before the pandemic started. If my history is accurate, which it usually is. But.
Yes, I believe you are. And the interesting thing about Danhausen is, a few years ago, he almost quit wrestling because he wasn't making any money and he was getting hurt a lot. But then he decided to give it one last try, and it happened to be the best run of his entire life.
Yeah, long story short, in his own words, he said he was just another beard guy with a bod who could fly. You know, nothing impressive, nothing. And in pure wrestling skill wise, the consensus from what I've read was generic, but it's the character work that counts. And with Danhausen, that's a hell of a character to work with.
Again, like having researched him since Dynamite aired, I was able to see some of his early matches before he was the character of Danhausen. And he worked a very aggressive, high-flying Impact style, which does lead to a lot of injuries. So it doesn't surprise me when he got to that point, like you said, that he was ready to quit because he was getting injured. He wasn't making money or anything like that.
The dollar to bump ratio was not working in his favor.
Correct.
I would assume, because I saw some of those matches.
He was cashing in a lot of bump tickets that weren't paying out.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, most wrestlers, when they talk about bump tickets, they talk about how everyone has a set amount of bumps that you can take before your body just says no more.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah, and you can look at some wrestlers who stay around too long. The most recent example I could think of was Kurt Angle, especially with his last match against Baron Corbin. You could tell that was not the same Kurt Angle everyone loves.
Yeah, Kurt's cashed in his bump tickets years ago, and he's definitely run the book. You find that the guys that last the longest in this business are the guys that aren't taking as much bumps but have amazing character work. Because they realize that if they can play up a gimmick and play up a character and everything else, they're going to be able to get away with doing so little, yet they're getting the best reactions.
Which is what Danhausen is when you really think about it.
Look at R-Truth. This guy is in his 50s, and yet he could still be around for the next 20 years.
And the crazy part is, you look at his body, and okay, the face might gave up a little bit of the age, but you look at his body, you're thinking, oh, this guy's still in his prime.
Yeah, it's like Dallas Page as well. He got over on character work more so than his bumps.
There you go.
Or The Miz.
Yeah, The Miz, another one.
Miz, MJF.
40s.
Yeah.
And MJF is probably the youngest example of that. Knows, hey, I could take he could take bumps, but
that's why I worry about. I worry about guys like a lot of the guys out of New Japan, Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, people who go bump, 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 and go, oh yeah, I'm still young, I'll be fine. Add 10 years on your body, and you're going to find that you're not going to have a career in 10 years' time.
I get this. I get the feeling that's what the Young Bucks are trying to steer with the way they're dressing, the characters, and all that stuff. I think they're trying to steer towards, okay, maybe not wrestling at a high impact style anymore and going towards character work. I think the transition is a little slower than I think we all anticipate.
Unfortunately, that's a leftover of the early 2000s wrestling mentality where we were getting matches where people would, especially in places like Ring of Honor, TNA mostly.
Yeah, there's a reason why we call it the work.
TNA.
Yeah, we call it the work rate era. Where it was.
Well, I call it the idiot era because everybody was just going high spot, high spot, high spot, high spot, high spot, high spot, and bump, 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 bump. Instead of working character, instead of working slower technical matches to save their bodies, they're bump, 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 cashing in those bump tickets, not making the money for them. Now a lot of them are either out of the business or a lot of them now work limited dates because their bodies are just that wrecked. Whereas if they had worked that character work back then, they might be able to still take a few more bumps today.
That is very true, although I will say that style came about during that time because it was something new, something different that people were trying out, and it just happened to catch on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not enough selling during that era.
That's why I love the Hoss fights, because at the very least, they especially in the heavyweight matches where like it's Hoss fight where they're knocking lumps out of each other. It's not just the knocking lumps; it's the selling of those lumps. They make them look like they hurt.
Yep.
That's why I love it. It's like, it looks like it hurts, but really all they're doing is selling.
Anyways, we're running low on time. We got to move on.
Yeah, we got to talk about GCW in 10 minutes. Holy shit.
It's fine. Let's try to move on here. So, OC wins by watching fucking Squid Game and doing the finish of one of those episodes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. That's pretty much what it was.
So he ends up getting the victory, and then they go off the air with OC victorious, although it is unsanctioned, so this loss will not hurt Adam Cole's record. It will not hurt his momentum. He could go on and challenge for a world title at the next pay-per-view if he wants to.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's you get the comeuppance, but no one gets hurt out of the deal. Yeah, you could say it's BS, but hey, look. You get your satisfaction, but everyone stays equal.
All right, now we're going to quickly go over Game Changer Wrestling's The World on GCW, which took place this past Sunday from the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York, New York.
All right, we got a few minutes to cover a whole lot of stuff here, and so we're not going to go blow for blow for the card, because if you folks have not watched it, you should.
It's $25, so if you have the spare money, it's not going to cost you too much, thankfully.
If you have someone who could spare you a copy of the show, whatever, however you want to do it. Watch it. I will just note a few things, and then I'll go on. There was a ladder match. There was a few things. There was a battle royal which featured Lufisto, who joined the Indie Wrestling Hall of Fame. Yay! She wrestled. Yay! Also, the opening, there was a ladder match, and I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm just going to say, ow, fuck.
Erg.
I will say that their brass ring looks, thankfully, nowhere near as ridiculous as AEW's.
Very true.
It's not a literal giant Sonic ring.
Or it gets you where if you jump through it, you get through a portal, and then you get the blue Chaos medal or Chaos Emerald. I'm a Mario guy. Shut up. So Matt Cardona came out to enter Sandman and is the ultimate fucking heel. Jesus Christ.
Wearing a flannel vest with "Fuck McFoley" written on the back.
Working the crowd.
And there was, of course, a huge banner that said, "If Matt Cardona wins, we will riot."
There was no rioting, and that's all I'm going to say there. That does not indicate what the result, by the way. There was no rioting.
Also, got to point out X-Pac coming out after the finish to the Run DMC remix of the DX theme.
So, Sean Waltman's wrestling again. Take for that what you will. Jeff Jarrett wrestled.
He wrestled against Effie, a.k.a. Lars Hendrickson's favorite wrestler.
The thumb is up on the match itself. So I'm all these guys on just the match itself. Again, no spoilers here. Let's see. PCO took a bump.
Yeah, he took.
That's not a spoiler. That's PCO being PCO. I ain't
that was in
the
ladder match. We also saw Blake Christian. He unfortunately was not able to challenge Jonathan Gresham for the ROH World
COVID-related reasons. They've pushed back the match towards a later date. They will have a match eventually, whether it's with Ring of Honor or Impact or however they want to do it. We are unaware of what the plan is now, but it has been pushed back. He did wrestle the mystery opponent, and it was Leo Rush.
It was probably the best match of the whole show.
I would bargain to say match of the night. Definitely one to catch. And it had Ian Riccaboni on the call as well, because he was there, obviously.
You know, if you got him on call, you might as well use him.
Yeah, and it gives him a chance it gives you a chance to explain, okay, here's what happened. We don't know when, but we are keeping rain check. Basically. Main event happened. Briscoes defending their tag titles. If you want,
before that, we had the world title match where we had Moxley versus Homicide. That was good stuffs.
Oh, good stuffs. Definitely worth a catch. And it was Mox's second match back from the sabbatical.
Yep, Mox entering the shit list by L7. Good tune.
I think it was his old song, not from Dragon yet, obviously, but in
the CZ dubs.
Yeah. And the main event was a tag match. I will spoil the opponent that was revealed, but not the result. It was Matt Tremont, and it was Nick fucking Gage.
And MLJ doing his usual Nick Gage entrance introduction.
Pretty much.
And while the show may not be the best on a technical sense, it may not have the best matches, but it does have some of the best.
I will say this for a GCW show, like in the last few shows I've watched from them, there was gratuitous crane shots. I would like to say, but in the Hammerstein Ballroom, the gratuitous crane shot warranted.
It is a beautiful building.
It is a beautiful building, and it is worthy of a crane shot, especially in some of the spots where you needed a wider angle to display the entire action. The crane was definitely worth using there.
Especially during the ladder match when people were doing flips all over the place, and you kind of needed to see all at once.
You just needed a wide shot to see where everyone else was going.
And my brother-in-law came in during the ladder match watching it, and he said that he's not used to seeing the Hammerstein Ballroom with that many camera angles. They're used to just seeing like the usual ones that ECW uses or ROH.
They put a lot, like Fight and whoever helped produce the show knew that this was a big deal for GCW, and they definitely forked over a few extra dollars towards the filming budget, the production budget, and it shows, and it's much appreciated.
It should also be noted that because GCW added extra seats on the stage for the fans, they now have the record for the highest sellout for the Hammerstein Ballroom.
Which, worthy. So we're not going to spoil the results. I will say this. I'm not going to give it a 5 out of 5, but I'm definitely, if someone were to put me down and say, what's your review of it? I'd say 4 out of 5, just on atmosphere alone. And then some of the matches, while not the best, worth checking out. This match it's Hammerstein Ballroom for GCW. This was hey, let's make a whole lot of noise and see if we get a few new fans in kind of a show. And I would wager it worked.
I'm hoping it works, and hope that in a few months they do another pay-per-view.
I would hope so. One would hope so.
Shin, what do you think?
You're not going to like this.
Don't be a spoil sport.
I don't want to say this because I got faith in GCW, but I'm not going to say the show was bad. It just felt underwhelming to me.
Honestly, that's the prevailing feeling I had at the end of the night. Because I will say this, one criticism, and again, I'm not going to spoil the result. I will say this, if you look on Wikipedia and look at the results and look at the time of the last match, you wouldn't think, wait, it went that long? Yeah, they were on traditional pay-per-view. And they only had 3 hours.
I know.
That's all I'm going to say there.
I took all that stuff into account. It's just... This is the first show. It needed to be better than this.
This was a historical show, and they rode that more than anything else. The middle of the card and some of the matches in the middle of the card are going to sell you on GCW. The main event will not.
Although the entrances alone, I feel like make up for it.
Yeah. You get the energy of the show. This I would not introduce I would not use this show as the introductory point to GCW. I would think of shows like Joey Janela's Spring Break, Effie's Big Gay Barrage, Bloodsport, anything that GCW promotes other than the Hammerstein Ballroom show. Yeah. I'm sure they will be back and they will produce better shows for Hammerstein Ballroom. This will not be their last show.
Yeah. And
after the success of the show, I doubt it will be. But I will say this, the pay-per-view runtime, the 3-hour runtime hurt them.
Yeah, I can kind of agree with that, but yeah, you're right. If I was trying to get someone in GCW, I had to do some other stuff because this was not it.
Yeah, this is a show for the fans or the fans who watch GCW, have heard of GCW. This one was for the fans who hung in there, not for the newbies necessarily. Or maybe it was. I would say this was an amuse-bouche more than this is to hook you for the next show.
This is their barely legal. They're going to have their heat wave soon.
Yeah, let's hope so.
I'd say that's a good comparison.
All right,
I will say, like, I haven't viewed the full show. I did check out clips online as it happened.
That's why we kept it, because I know there's a few of our fans who probably didn't watch it. That's why we wanted to keep the spoiler free as much as possible.
Yeah, I had my headphones off for most of what you were talking about.
Yeah.
But one thing I did notice, and this is just purely like me from a production standpoint and everything that I have done on shows, they needed more security.
Yeah.
The entryway area was not blocked off, and I think that would have caused a lot of issues for the wrestlers.
Yeah, it did look close.
Especially with some of the surprise guys who just walked out, especially one Mr. Gage.
Yeah,
I would have just started punching people if he was allowed.
The crazy part is that's an atypical Nick Gage entrance. The fans will mob no matter what. But for everyone else, that's a fair point.
But here's the thing about GCW is that normally they don't even have barricades for their shows. They only did that because of the New York State Athletic Commission.
Yeah, and you could tell the mats were another thing where you need mats at ringside. They did the bare minimum possible.
Yeah, like usually they encourage, like, the thing about Nick Gage is that normally, like, the whole crowd mobs around him, and it takes him like the entire song to get to the ring.
That is encouraged. They just say, hey, don't hurt him. Just, you can mob him, feel him, make him feel like a big deal. But yeah, on everyone else though, that's a fair point.
I just got one other thing I want to talk about tonight before we end things, and that is what's up?
I say go for it.
All right, it's the Internet Wrestling TV's The Masked Wrestler Season 2. They put the first episode up for free on their YouTube channel. And we had it was hosted by Larry Legend, with the judges being Bulldozer Matt Tremont, Edith Surreal, and Warhorse.
Nice.
Cool.
And the whole thing is that whenever somebody loses a match, they must unmask and reveal their identity, and the winner moves on.
For those who will follow the reality stuff, it's the Masked Singer, except people wrestle instead of singing.
Yes, and the
Long
winner.
story short,
and the winner gets a shot at the IWTV World Title. And whoever gets the most correct guess, whichever judge gets the most correct guesses, gets to pick the stipulation for that match.
Ooh, I forgot about that stip.
And the first loser was Janae Kai, who you may have seen get squashed by Jade Cargill about a month or so ago on Dynamite.
Yeah, that I knew that name was familiar.
Yeah, she's a student of Thunder Rosa.
There you go.
Nice.
And she's been putting out some impressive matches on the indie scene from what the buzz has been saying. And the person who guessed correctly was Edith Surreal, so she's got 1 point. Warhorse was not impressed, though. He was very unhappy with this. And he had one of the best interactions ever because before they did the thing, both masked wrestlers had to give 2 truths and a lie. And one of the truths about Janae Kai is she's very well rounded with music, to which Warhorse responded by saying, "Okay then, name 47 metal bands." Ha! Can't do it. Not well rounded.
Because it's a Warhorse joke, of course. Of course. All right, we got to move on. We got a hard out. We got winners and losers, and we got 5 dudes in this call. You might have missed Mike Shell in there because I think most of us were occupied there. We normally let our guests do the deed first, so we begin with losers, and we begin with you, Mase. We begin with losers only, and then we will go with the winners after. So round table, we begin with Mase. You were saying there was a particular loser you want to throw in there, so I'm curious.
Yeah. This sort of goes a bit of an older gripe. It's not anything directly to do with wrestling that we have watched in the past week or anything, but it is wrestling related tangentially. As many of us do when we buy the WWE video games, when they actually work,
Yeah.
2K20. And hopefully 2K22. I am fingers crossed this thing will be a goddamn improvement over what they have put out.
From what I've heard from every YouTuber that has played it, is actually turning out pretty well.
Wait. There's betas out?
Not betas, but like 2K invited a whole bunch of YouTubers out to their studio to play
preview events.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair.
But as most of us do when we do buy these games, first thing that we will like to do is go into the Creator Wrestler after we've done making our idealized versions of ourselves with 6-pack abs, even though we have like beer king bellies and everything else. We'll usually look at bringing in characters from other companies. I found a great video on the internet on YouTube the other day, which had some of the best looking AEW creator wrestlers for WWE 2K19 that I had seen in ages. Like, completely up to date and everything else with their ring gear and everything. So I'm like, cool, I'll start making the roster, and I figure I'll play an AEW Universe mode. I started running into problems after nearly 2 hours of downloading all of this stuff.
Wow, okay.
Mainly because, one, the 2K servers are still slow as dog shit.
And that does not fucking surprise me.
And the problem I ran into, and this is one I pray that they look at changing in this next game, is when it comes to the custom images that you can download, you are limited to 1,000 images.
So you're hoping to double it or at least triple it?
I'm hoping that they do it by 5 times, or they look at it as you can have as much as you like as long as you have the storage space. Because a lot of these images are less than like 300K.
Yeah, something like that.
In most cases, like they're not that big a file.
And on a 1 terabyte system, you should be able to download a few thousand at the very least.
Exactly it. And to limit you to an arbitrary number like 1,000 in the game, I found I had to cut over a third of the roster, including a lot of guys that I wanted to keep on. I had to skip all the managers. So, like, no Vicky Guerrero, no Tully Blanchard, no Taz, or anything like that. I had to cut out some of the women's roster as well, just to make everything fit. And when I got through and I thought I was getting close to the limit, which I bypassed a few times, and had to go and fix up and everything else, I went and downloaded arenas and everything else, only to find that for some reason, because I had gone over that arbitrary limit, the game started corrupting other files.
Whoa, okay.
So I was losing characters because I was downloading Arena. So I had to go and use their stupid delete program thing that they've got in the game, which takes forever to do anything. To get it done, clear these guys out, only to find that I had hit the 1,000 image limit still, and I had to get rid of another couple of guys just to get key characters. Like, I wanted to keep Ricky Starks, Max Caster, and Stu Grayson. I had to knock out another 3 to 4 guys out of the roster to get those 3 back in after their files were corrupted the first time.
So long story short, 2K's a loser.
So, yeah, basically 2K, at least their programming team that's their big loss for this time, but I hope that they can make it up and turn it into a win with 2K22.
All right, I hate to cut you off there, but we got a hard out.
Sorry, I could rant for hours about it.
You could, and you know what? You're among good friends when it comes to dunking on 2K games, so don't worry about that. Fazhead, Mike Shell.
So it was 2K the budget cut edition, but anyway, my loser this week, of course, is a Fed.
Fair enough. Tita, Shin.
D-Cell Battery Award. I'm going to give this one to good old Johnny Ace for trying to bring Jeff Hardy back to the Fed by offering him a spot in the Hall of Fame. Really? Really? As for my regular losers, I'm unfortunately going to have to give it to GC Dub because outside of that trios match and that Blake Leo Rush match, it just fell flat for me. Not terrible, not worst pay-per-view of the year. I'm giving them a caveat because it's their first pay-per-view, but next time, boys, you're gonna have to step your game up. Step it up really well. That's me.
T-Dub.
Shintigercurl!
God damn it, here we go.
Anyways, for real though, again, our loser to Johnny Ace as well. Goddamn.
I was going to give a loser to the Fed, but yeah, Johnny Ace gets added to that. Wow. You dumb.
We'll even give you 10 minutes in the Rumble.
Give us 5 minutes in the Rumble. You're in the hall, kid. Whatever. Winners, Mase, quickly.
Winner this week, surprisingly enough, I'm actually going to give it to Impact Wrestling. I tuned in for the show for the first time in a while, and I was actually surprised they're using my boy Jonah really well over there, and also the surprise of the Gorillas of Destiny rocking up in Impact.
By the way, I did miss it from the live air, from the quote live riffing. I did watch it later. Boys, all were in for some fun.
Yep.
Yeah, as usual, Impact usually puts on a generally good time.
Yepper. Mike.
I'm going to bring the room down just a little bit, but I've got to put a winner in for E-Rod, the Blockbuster Buster. He lost his wife to COVID this week.
Fuck. That's what it was? Oh,
yes.
No.
Yep.
Oh.
Fuck. Fair enough. Absolutely fair enough. Do I just go right to Shin then, or are you done?
Yeah, Shin. I'm done.
Of course, gonna give it to AEW. Obvious reasons, they are obvious. Impact for having the Gorillas of Destiny going to be on next week. And because Mike Shell mentioned him, E-Rod, I may not have liked him, but I would never wish that fate on anybody, especially with my own experiences with COVID and the things you guys know. And my last winner, of course, got to give it totally not Mark. He fought the system, and the system fought for him, as he gave a big win against those cock hydrants totally who were doing him dirty behind the scenes. So,
folks, you need to read up on that. I don't have the time to do it because we have 90 seconds, but absolutely. T-Dub.
Got to give a winner out to the Masked Wrestler from IWTV. Always entertaining stuff.
All right, the system's telling me to go here. What the fuck? Hey. The fuck? I'm not done yet. Thank you. About a minute left. Winamp, this is all the glitches on me, for God's sakes. Anyway, for me, Danhausen and Cody versus Sammy get a winner for that amazing ladder match, including that cutter, Jesus. And GCW, it's not their best show, but they had a show on pay-per-view at Hammerstein Ballroom. That's winner material for me in the base. It's only up and higher times for here. We're out of time because Rampage is about to go on and Mase has to go, so we got to say everybody plugs, everything's in the thing on the screen, all that stuff. Patreon for TWK, it's on the screen, all that stuff. On behalf of everybody, including Mase.
Yep, find me on Twitter at the Mase Thing and also theunderhaven.net.
And of course, Mike Shell.
That's forever.
Shin.
Lariat! Laureate! Laureate!
And TWK.
Something. Bye-bye.
Help professional wrestling support your independent promotion as soon as possible. Enjoy Rampage. We will see you next week, folks. Hopefully in less of a rush. Bye, everybody. Oh, by the way, no Stinger this week. I ran out of time. Bye, everybody. Bye.